Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Spike's Picks. Today I'm going to be breaking down my spoiler-free review of My Hero Academia World Heroes Missions. I got to see it the other day. Not going to tell you where, not going to tell you how, but I did see it, and these are my thoughts on it, without any spoilers, of course. Maybe once the movie's been out for a week, I might make another video with spoilers, but for now, let's keep it spoiler-free. Let's go.
This is it, heroes. Start your mission.
Okay, I'm going to start off pretty strong right out the gate, and I'm going to make a very bold statement that this movie is probably the worst out of the three. The first two were great, the second one being my favorite, and this third one was just a little too lackluster for me. I want to say my biggest problem with this movie was the pacing. The pacing seemed a little bit off, and there were scenes and dialogue that could have been left completely out of the movie entirely and no one would have blinked an eye or missed it. I think some of these scenes that I'm speaking of right now, which I won't go into too much detail, could have been omitted completely because it didn't really add to the story. It kind of took away from the story because the manga and the anime itself, it does have its moments of comedic relief, but I feel like in this movie specifically, there were too many moments of comedic relief, and it kind of took away from the seriousness of the plot of the movie and the villain itself. And it just felt like a slice of life anime for a little while, which we all know that this shonen anime is not that at all. It is kind of dark and gritty, but it's also kind of comical and witty and wholesome at the same time. And I feel like My Hero Academia balances that out really well in the manga and the anime, and both of the previous movies. But in this movie, I feel like they missed their mark big time. There was just way too many moments of comedic relief, and there was a scene specifically, like in the middle of the movie, that was borderline cringe. And I don't use that word very often or lightly when it comes to My Hero Academia. But in this instance, me and my buddy were just like, what are we watching? What is going on? Why is this scene relevant? Why was this put in the movie? And it just kind of took away from the experience for a little bit. Now, the villain as well, a bit lackluster, I'm going to say again. I was expecting so much more from seeing the stills and reading what his quirk was before watching the movie. I was expecting so much more. The action is still there, just like in the previous two movies, but I feel like the action is a lot less, and it's tamed down quite a bit from the second movie especially. The second movie just came out straight out the gate with action, and this one was a slow burn for the most part, but it did have its moments of that classic My Hero Academia action, the suspense, the feeling of defeat. But overall, I feel like it could have used more action throughout the entire movie. The final battle was pretty epic, but again, I expected so much more out of this movie because I've heard raves and reviews from overseas. Maybe I'll have to watch it a second time, but the first two movies at the first watch sold me. They were great, and this one just feels like it's a little bit lackluster, and it's easily, to me at least, the weakest of the three, but that's just my opinion. Now, enough of the negatives, let's focus on the positives. The animation was very solid, pretty good. Not as good as the second movie, but it's still pretty good. It's not crappy or anything. I'm not downplaying the animation. The movie pretty much focused on 5 or 6 characters, I want to say. So the classic heroes from 1A are pretty much non-existent. You see them throughout the movie doing tasks in other countries, but there's not much dialogue from many of the characters in 1A. Some of them you'll see for like maybe 10 seconds total screen time. So it's very heavily focused on Todoroki, Bakugo, of course Midoriya, and the villain. And a special character that, this is the first time we ever see this character. He's probably not going to be in anything else but this movie. But that was the primary focus of the entire movie. Even All Might didn't get very much screen time, which is pretty wild. Not very many lines, not very much to do when it comes to All Might. Now I know he's lost his powers, and he can't really be much help other than encouragement and wisdom. But it was very, very heavily focused on our 3 primary heroes of the series. Now, That being said, they did a good job giving each one screen time, giving each one a purpose, so no complaints there. The development of the story was decent. The pacing was kind of weird, like I mentioned before, but it got to where it needed to be, I guess. And then the action was at the right moment, but a little too late, in my opinion. They should have been scattered a little bit more throughout the movie. But overall, I would have to give this movie a... Damn, this is hard. I want to give it like a 6.5. I can't give it a 7 because it was, like I said, I've used this word 1,000 times in this review, but at the end of the day, it was lackluster. I was expecting so much more. I know it broke records overseas. Maybe I need to watch it a second time, and I definitely will, so I can give you guys a spoiler review weeks down the line, maybe a week or week and a half or so after everybody's seen it. But for now, for this spoiler-free review, it's going to get a 6.5 out of 10 out of me. I definitely recommend you go seeing it, especially if you're a big fan of My Hero Academia. You don't want to miss it, but I'm definitely curious to know what you guys thought, so flood the comments with what you thought of the movie. If you completely disagree with me, if you agree with me, I just want to hear your opinions in the comments below, because I was very torn watching this movie, and usually when I watch a My Hero movie, I'm super pumped, stoked at the end of it, and I just left the theater feeling empty a little bit. Yeah, it is what it is. They can't all be winners. Alright guys, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the little bell so you're notified every time I drop a brand new video. Be kind to each other, wash your hands, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.